Where you at, New Orleans Poetry fans? Yeah, you're right. We are here for the featured event. We got two banging poets tonight. We only got one organization to thank. The State of Louisiana funded 33% of this event through the Louisiana Endowment of the Humanities. The other 66.3 repeating is all y'all in the crowd right here. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for being this festival. Yeah, you're right. We're gonna keep it short and sweet. Rachel Zavex, one of our board members, is gonna come up and introduce Courtney Bush.
All right. Courtney Bush, poet, filmmaker, secret teller, and linguistic form maker. Author of the chapbook, Isn't This Nice? And the full-length collections, Every Book is About the Same Thing, I Love Information, a movie, and The Lamb with the Talking Scroll. Her collaborative films have been screened at festivals internationally, and I Love Information was a winner of the 2022 Milkweed National Poetry Series, selected by poet Brian Tier. After selecting I Love Information, Tier is quoted, "A seeker who settles for nothing less than maximum amplitude. Courtney Bush heads ever towards things so mysterious we shouldn't bother with explaining. Her poems a means to entering sacred time recklessly. Now with the gusto and bumptious charm of Christopher Smart, now with the sibylline intelligence of Rilke, and always with the antic candor of a digital native. Poets are allowed, you know, to lie. Courtney Bush's poems feel something like truths, cultivated cozy in the active space between us, reader and poem and poet. Here, the intimate is an informational mode which works on our desire for reality in the unreal, metaphorizing space of language art. Like the frames of a film, we actively put images and ideas together in ways that create a cinematic narrative intimacy, and often cause tension between a desire to connect at a human level and a discomfort at recognizing the tenuousness of the mundane as something unshakably comfortable or familiar. And her poems are not comfortable. They inspire conversation and they talk back. Her poem, Caitlin, one of many titled the same, addresses me directly. These aren't blueberries, and teeth have their own minds. A fragment of truth hasn't been put in the lie. Do you feel the centipede I feel in me? I say, I think I do. And in that moment of desire for connection, I am effectively caught, also in a moment of visceral disgust. Oh shit, I say, I feel the centipede in me. Courtney Bush's poems speak to us and compel us to speak back with empathy, curiosity, and discomfort in equal measure. They engage us in an act of linguistic and collaborative art making, and they do this as a way of showing us that we can. Movies are always happening. Poems are forming all around us. We need only take hold of camera or pen. Please join me in welcoming Courtney Bush to the stage.
Hi, thank you so much. That was so nice. I'm glad you feel the centipede as well. It's a weird feeling. Thank you, New Orleans Poetry Festival. Thank you for having me. This is such a wonderful experience. I've laughed, I've cried, I've experienced catharsis. I've zoned out. I've done everything. So, all of those things are welcome, and I think that's beautiful. So thank you all for having me. My family's here. I'm really excited. They came over from Mississippi. So thank you to them too. I'm gonna get started as fast as I can, but I'm gonna read this, because I'm gonna read this whole chapbook that was put out by Sistrum, which is a press. It's a beautiful letterpress cover. It's run by the universally beloved Ben Pease and Ed Steck. And so I'm just gonna read this now. It's called Intelligent Process. Time is a sound you make with your mouth. Logic is a kind of music the music of intelligent process. We were traumatized by the Herzog, yet managed to say goodbye. I know I did something wrong because I missed you, I heard Lisa Loeb sing in CVS. Nora was walking around drinking in O'Doul's and I was riding the C train. She was listening to Chopin and I was reading her poem where the earth reminds us it's real. We texted each other at the same time. I changed my mind. We're all doing the same thing, she said, and sent me a photo of the New York bean. In her poem, she said, I feel moved by the tenderness of complexity. Outside of her poem, I am moved by her being moved. Lying in bed, I had a dangerous feeling. I wanted to get back on Zoom with a psychic I talked to once and felt afraid of what it meant. It was not the potential content of the conversation which upset me, but the desire to have it. Being so bored with life that you want to be told a secret about yourself is a sickness. Nora, Morgan, and I have been seeing movies separately and together. Morgan quit writing about fish and started writing about holes. A pit, deep and unlit, he said. Nora keeps walking out into traffic. I keep saving her. At home, I watched the movie Morgan recommended. The movie was about the pit, the one that was deep and unlit. And I don't keep secrets from myself. Every sentence is beautiful. Everything that is beautiful is a code for something already known. A woman in the coffee shop explained she had no toenail. She'd had an accident. The accident, we found out by asking enough questions, was that someone ripped it off on purpose. Your lover is about to leave. A goblin wants a coin. I wanted to smoke a glass of wine. The desire is the abundance. When I said it, I stressed the word is. The sentence is man-made, so every sentence is at least as weak as the human mind. We don't understand death, for example. Neither does a sentence, even one which reads, I understand death. You weren't a cloud. Your father's father wasn't a cloud. So that was a dream. I bought them for you. In the alley on my lunch break, I tried to make legible even one small part of the chaos of living. On the phone, my mother said, the ghosts of your past will fuck you in the future if you don't decapitate them and kick them out of your box. Driving in the car to Waffle House, she was perfectly happy saying this. This is the time, but time is going to change. They found arsenic on the golf course. They put arsenic on the stage. An alien race came down to see us. They found us sitting on the floor, glaring at our husbands, noticed the damp paper towels in our laps full of rinsed grapes, and determined we like being sad. In their terrible computers, they updated their documents. Their language, they wrote of us, began long ago as indissociable harmonies of sound, which they have continually simplified by removing the music. Hey, thanks for all this blood in my mouth, one girl bat said to the other girl bat. Worst comes to worst, I'll fillet it. I'll send it home with you. An alien clocked in at its post in the wetlands. An alien clocked in at the grass. I know UFOs are real, it's just not a big deal to me. I will share my adjectival form with them. Some girls are only thinking about one thing, the limit. And death, past it, in the pasture, and adjacent pastures with no names. Sitting on the train on my way to see the 40th anniversary restoration of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I was surprised to see the strange green clump fly through the open doors at West 4th Street and plunk wetly onto the floor of the train car. When it landed near the central pole, I could see it was a clump of wet grass, about 1 square foot, 5 inches thick, tied together with a red silk ribbon. A man entered the train and stood beside it proprietarily, his foot only a few centimeters from the clump. His shoe bore clues of having been in prolonged contact with the clump. They shone with wetness, a thin layer of mud and stray green blades of grass. At the next stop, the door opened and more passengers rushed into the train. The man calmly kicked the clump of grass tied with red ribbon over to an empty space near the opposite closed doors. Again, he followed his clump of grass, stood beside it. At 34th Street, the doors again opened. The man kicked the clump of grass with skill and precision to send it flying out of the train and onto the platform. He left then, too, following his grass into the richness of their shared life, not looking back at any of us who had no clump of grass to tie with silk ribbon, no clump of grass to kick or stand beside. Nora and I saw another movie. Before it began, I bought 2 Diet Cokes and wedged them into their 2 tight cup holders. She told me my poem was about recognition and possibly loneliness. She suggested that as a small child, I understood that there is a psychic current underneath basic reality. So the task of the poem, she said, is to both illustrate how much remains unspoken and why, but also to give language to this unspoken comprehension we all share, or at least all the freaks share, or you alone share with yourself. Maybe you are alone, she said, quieter, inflected like a question. I think you are extremely sensitive, she said next, and empathetic, and funny. The task of the poem is to explain how and why we became freaks, do you mean? I asked her. But the movie began. The movie which began was Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky. There is gray behind the soul. Someone was the first to notice. Morgan got his car from the garage to drive me around to take photos of power lines, telephone poles, and the round things that hang from the top. This was a punitive drive. He told me I kept forgetting the sky was full of stuff. This forgetting begets the lie your compositions suffer from, he said. Logic can be music, I told him, but we don't know what music is. The alien told me his name while meaning no harm. When I was a child, I stretched my body out on the back of the puffy chair where my mom sat watching TV. I held my mouth as close to her ear as possible and made strange noises and told incomprehensible stories until she kicked me out of the kitchen. This is the way I remember passing most of the time. Now, with the same fervor, I enjoy living in the golden age of short stops. I show hustle so the train conductor knows I'm a good person and holds the door. I'll just keep writing this religious poem, the one you're reading now, until it's done. Morgan parked the car near my neighbor who stood on the street laughing into her sparkly phone. My compositions would never lie again, I thought. Glitter slid down the case of the neighbor's phone. The sun shone on the neighbor's satin pajamas. The t-shirts here tell it like it is. Life being temporary, Wu-Tang being forever, Donnie Darko making no sense. In the cab, the voice on the radio asked me how it felt. Over the stream of southbound cars, my eyes rested on the stillness of a Spanish tile roof on a low house before noon. I thought about the great unity of each person. I thought about the question I am always thinking of. Who died where, in what proximity in time and space in their battle against failure and poverty? The mother I work for wants to avoid all chemicals, but chemicals are a spectrum. Water, I remind her, is a chemical. She thinks ampersands are beautiful, but I think the word "and" is beautiful. The back and forth is the interrupted logic, which is the music. It will soon be proven there is no alien. Then the alien will get a chance to speak. My boyfriend made his own music of alternation as he read Schoenberg's A Theory of Harmony in the closet. He alternated between gasping for air between sobs and calmly reading the book for 4 years straight. To future generations, music like ours will seem incomplete, he cried, because of the compromise between the absolute eternal completeness of music and our own limited minds at every stage of human history. Imagine a tone exists, he commanded, has always existed, is ringing through the bashing atoms of the air around us now, which we simply don't distinguish yet because of math and our weak minds. I cannot imagine this tone, I told him. Music is whole, he cried. We are incomplete, he cried. This may be true, I said, but nobody acts like this except cartoon characters and you. At work, I passed through the apartment carrying a bath towel. I looked into the crystalline blue eyes of the ragdoll cat which sat on a closed laptop on a mahogany table. We were in a building owned by Jeffrey Epstein. I'd seen it in the documentary. The cat hissed. The child in the bathtub watched a claymation pigeon sing a song on an iPad, propped up against the faucet of the bathroom sink. A fire truck floated upside down in the warm water. I poured a cup of water over the boy's head, using my hand to shield his eyes. His parents had gone to Alvin Ailey. I ate Kashi peanut butter cereal with milk from a coffee mug, cross-legged on the bathroom floor, and imagined the dancers from the Subway ads leaping. I listened to the pigeons sing. Later, while the boy slept, I sniffed a takeout container of brisket and felt unenthused. When the parents got home, they were drunk and smelled like weed. I was happy for them. They asked if it would take me a very long time to get home from their apartment. I told them that it would. The faces of clerks absorb the last detail. The detail is the eye's stability when written down. I brought scissors down the 5 flights of stairs from my apartment to the square of concrete, which is our yard. Where my landlord had planted flowers and several metal trash cans, I cut a red globular flower from a brown woody stem. By the time I reached the 5th floor with the flower, I saw that one ant had stepped forth from each lip of petal. One shivered on the nail of my thumb. I put the flower directly into the compost in the freezer, embarrassed to have thought I had control over even one small part of nature. I let the cold slowly murder the ants in their wet caverns. When a porta potty door opens and your friend walks out, that is the feeling of the detail. The red wine splattered. The stickers on green plastic said Key Lime Restroom and featured a photo of the beach, 3 waves rolling. One wave was a term, one was a concept, the other was an idea. Someone came out of the other porta potty. He was not a friend. A white dog awaited this person, awash in its own feelings. I understood other people's children. They handed me things to hold. They filled my arms with water bottles and trash and collapsed into me when they fell from the monkey bars. Sleep, I wanted more, they always wanted less. I understood the baby vomit on my shoulder as a mark of an honest day's work, but was unsure if that's how the other people on the bus understood it. Beating people up from the Ted Berrigan poem wasn't really beating people up. It was something else I understood, which had no other name. Or maybe not. The schooner left the dock before the life jackets had been secured. My classmate was going to have a baby before homecoming. There was in Paris at that time a girl called Eloise who'd ruin Abelard's career, whereas he would ruin her entire life. None of it was completely my fault, but it also wasn't completely not. Poems beyond nature called to each other above the poets' heads. Free will was individual, and so multiplied by the sheer amount of people in any given situation that what happened was always something nobody willed. After the movie, Nora and I laughed at a woman behind us who, filtering out on the red carpet at IFC, said, "That was super surreal." Then in the wet Russian silence, we washed our hands. This was a movie about faith and discipline channeled toward finding what is finally behind the distraction, pulsing strongly in one field. God is material there, and you hum with radioactivity. It's a movie about talking as all that's truly beautiful is. Almost nothing happens, Nora yelled at her normal talking volume. Almost nothing, she repeated, but the excruciating heartbreak of the stalker, the only one with faith and discipline, who loves the zone and so understands it, and so forms a physical sphere of reverence which prevents exploitation of the beloved, which for the stalker, of course, is zone. And as for the stalker is the zone is for the stalker. It breaks him to earn money by showing the artist and the scientist, mired in their worlds of pure shit, the full scale of his beloved. Of course he is bereft as the black dog of fate drags its tail through the water of his beloved. The phone rings in the water of his beloved. Someone has his beloved's number, and it's another scientist. There is nothing surreal about the call coming from inside the water of your love. Nora went into Papaya Dog. I smoked by the trash can on the corner and watched her through the windows. I could hardly believe I had a new friend, and it was her. Coming out with a paper basket of corn dogs in one hand, waving the other at me, she told me something crazy had just happened. The guy working the counter had asked her if he'd seen her before. "Did she work over there?" he asked her, pointing downtown. She did not want to get into the details of where and why because the Papaya Dog was busy, so she just told him yes, because she does work downtown sometimes, handling art. Then the man lifted his hand from the counter to show her a mash of scars and old tattoos on the inside of his wrist. The tattoo was like completely fucked up, she explained. I need you to fix this, the man said. She realized he thought she worked at the tattoo shop next door, which she doesn't, but again, she did not explain because she was interested in the tattoo. He told her it was his only tattoo, a cross on the inside of his wrist, but one night he'd gotten so angry, he punched his fist through the glass papaya dog counter. His daughter had been asking him what happened to the cross. Well, what made you so angry, Nora asked him. And he said, you come here, you meet the policeman, you meet the doctor, you meet the criminal, and you just get angry. Almost nothing happens but the love and its rupture and the talk. Well, there's also the fear, and in back of that time, and behind that the soul, and then the gray. When I say 7 p.m., I may mean movie time or poetry time. That's really nice. For one, you should be early, and for the other, you should be late. This is the secret wild book that gets written alongside the regular book. My mom wants the seafood tower and a haircut she saw online. Do not activate your desires at World Trade Center. Do not think about the grilled cheese you would like to be eating. This is the river Styx until you get out of the train at Franklin. It upsets me to know that when the aliens come, some people are just going to try to figure out how to get money from them. I understood and felt unstoppable sorrow. My dancing at the cemetery became very fight or flight. I had been beamed down into a state of happiness. It's cool, I explained to a nearby teenager who could not stop staring at me. I'm just on drugs. Shame comes from a Germanic word which has no place in this moment. Thinking has its own story which we would be able to perceive if we could isolate thinking from the thoughts which comprise it. I have the same fantasy about talking. When I die, everything I finally understood dies with me. Everything I ever saw goes black like the end of a movie. Strangely dropped names, the customs we barely had time to learn. Captain Kirk says to Spock, "You almost make me believe in miracles." Spock says to Captain Kirk, "You almost make me believe in luck." Stan Beeman, the FBI agent in the parking lot in the Americans, says to Philip, the KGB agent, "You were my best friend." The Last Samurai says of the baby, "This baby is me." Nora says it's about the libidinal urge to connect outside the systems of buying and selling. The youngest samurai tells the master swordsman who sits catching his breath beside the hut, "You are a magnificent person." I waited a long time to tell you that. Jamie says the past tense is important. It's not that I understand, but that I understood. It's about the circle from the old poem. Peter Falk says when he talks about Columbo, it's strange, he absorbed me. Michael Corleone says to his brother Fredo, holding him close on the dance floor in Cuba on New Year's Eve before the revolution, "I knew it was you." The fucked up part of me left over from childhood acknowledges the fucked up part of you left over from childhood, so we may better go into the future as each other. Fredo, you have broken my heart. "The papaya dog is a stalker," she shouted, clapping her hands with each syllable. "Of course, the papaya dog is a stalker," I shouted back. She walked into traffic, as she always does. I pulled her back onto the sidewalk, as I always do. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. That song was a dream about escaping Europe before the war. Doing star, but feeling stone. It's a pretty clear memory. On a field trip with my 7th grade class, we stood waiting for our guide in the wide atrium of the Mississippi State Capitol building. Anna's dad, Johnny, a lobbyist for the power company who had been in the building many times, was proud to show us where he sometimes worked. He placed his hand on my shoulder and pointed to a stooped old man moving inelegantly up a marble staircase. "That man used to be the Grand Wizard of the KKK, Mr. Johnny said." "It means leader," he said. This man in a blue button-down, hunched with age, was only a quarter of the way up the stairs. There was a clear shot from just about anywhere in the atrium. "Why isn't anyone trying to kill him?" I asked. Johnny looked very surprised. "Shouldn't somebody shoot him?" I asked again, nervous because though very slowly he was getting away. Above my head, Johnny waved one of the teachers over and told her what I said. It came as no surprise to me the adults were wasting our time. I looked around the room to see who was going to do it. I was a kid. My teacher knelt down beside me and asked gently, "What's going on?" "He will get away," I told her, "if someone doesn't kill him quickly." I believe she had a conversation with some other people about this. The man in blue made it up the stairs. We ate lunch on a windy lawn, red delicious apples, ham and cheese. I understood Freebird, and I'd like for you to play it. I understood what a great life we were having while we were having it. I sat on the back porch throwing water at a raccoon. I stared at a circular bas-relief of a fat dove with a leaf in its mouth. They used to disturb me, the movie scenes where protagonists knelt down to gaze at the marks made with pencils on the door frames of their childhood homes. Their names printed beside them matched with long-gone dates. This obsession with our child selves disturbed me until I understood we looked there because we're trying to look at what is behind it, which we could see if our childhood would move slightly to the side. Your age, please, and the nature of your quest. Late at the bar, my friend finished her Cosmo. "Tomorrow's Father's Day," she explained, "and my husband is going to be looking for balloons when he opens his eyes." I told my uncle I had a book coming out with a small press. He responded by saying, "Yeah, John Kennedy Toole killed himself just down the street by the Biloxi Lighthouse." The Icelandic novel keeps getting better and better. The Oompa Loompa from the Glasgow Wonka experience has broken her silence. Athletes have the same fundamental temperament as artists. This is my wish, but it was Greer Langton's first, to still be doing what I'm doing, only happily. And she underlines this, and constructively. Prince Mishkin said, "I am naked and a beggar and an atom in the vortex of humanity." The tragedy of the sentence, that it is meant to enclose a complete thought, is similar to the tragedy of the artist who too feels like she has to enclose something complete, who begins to believe she actually could. The tragedy of the athlete is the torn ACL. My anxiety rolled incalculably like a wheel within a wheel covered with a biblically accurate number of metal eyes. Most people are doing it wrong. You don't have to be vulnerable in poems. You have to be vulnerable in real life. At work, the little boy snuggled into my side and handed me a folded sheet of paper. "This is my lice sheet," he said. "We all have lice. And also, what does severe mean?" He stood on the coffee table then and said, "And here's my trick. I promise I don't get hurt every single time I do it." The girl hugging my other side already held a bloody napkin in her mouth. We didn't know where the tooth was. This was the day of confusion. We started wiping her hands. The bowls printed with smiling fish shuddered in the children's fierce grip. They watched their favorite show about a giant baby projected onto the living room wall. My brain mixed things excitedly. Just once, I knew what life was for. I understood the children's warmth came from within, whereas the bowl's warmth came from the hands that held it or the water used to wash it. Percival didn't even want to go into the woods. I understood what it meant when the dying man wanted to put on the Supremes, but I shook sobbing in the darkness all the way from the church to Myrtle Wyckoff. I found that automatic or inspirational speech tended everywhere to fall into meter, which is why it sounds wrong when some people curse. A suffering so acute it bursts into I ams. I understood while walking in the steppe grasses that this book was for cowboys or people who might want to change their path. Description was not the mode I was interested in, and so climbed into the pit. I understood Patty Hearst. I felt her. I understood history was kicked off by a base loser who invented the future in order to exploit the present. So clomb the first villain into God's green fold. How I missed the indissociable harmony of sounds on the clipped lawn of the golf course. The painter woke to blue-eyed grass. I could not count the number of grasses in which I'd been confused, but just once, Peyton put on the YouTube AI drill mix of the Harry Potter score so that it poured forth from the open windows of the Z71. My other best friend was passed out on the green by the flag. Drink blood from this ditch. Put on the Supremes. There's absolutely no way the soul isn't real. Ben thinks every angel is terrifying because it might come tell you that you're the next Virgin Mary. So not only is every angel individually terrifying, it's terrifying to each of us for our own personal reason. Now we're in the commons. Now we're in the movie theater. The movie is called Angels versus Aliens. It's live action, and you just find out they're the same thing. And then Diane Pasulka, the theologian, comes out for a Q&A. The viewer gets the disturbing feeling that the unexplainable is about to be explained, and here's the twist, it is. Thank you.
Yo, give it up one more time for Courtney, y'all. Whoa, shit. Damn, y'all look beautiful. Hell yeah. All right, it's not over. It's not over, y'all. Yo, I think my favorite moment of Courtney's is when she says, and I look at the teenager and I say, it's okay, I'm just on drugs. That's some New Orleans shit right there. I think I said that at this bar, actually. Yeah. Need a break? All right, we have one more very special guest tonight. Jerome Ellis. This is big. So the first thing I'm gonna do, the first thing I want to show y'all. Look at this book. This is Jerome Ellis's new book, Master of Ceremonies. And I was writing in my phone, and I said, "Fuck that. I'm gonna write." And look how beautiful this is. Like, this is one of the most beautiful books I've held in a minute. Anyways, so that's why I'm holding it. So buy it. But there's a part of this intro that I want to read to get us started. And it says, and it pertains to how you should read the book. It says, please feel free to read this book however you'd like. Front to back to front, tiddly-winking from page to page, slowly, quickly, not at all, forgotten out of friends. Yo, I just love that. And part of the reason I love that is because I truly think that the essence of NOPF is trying to embody a spirit of that. Like, we really want y'all here, and we want y'all to be whatever the fuck y'all want to be while y'all are here. If y'all want to lay down over there, if y'all want to, we don't care. Like, we just love that y'all are here, being and expressing yourselves on stage, not on stage, whatever. And so when I read that, knowing Jerome I was like, yo, it's perfect. It's perfect. I have more to say, but we're just gonna put that in the air because that is the essence of what I think we're doing. I first came across Jerome's work. I was in grad school and I was studying with this mentor, and they were really exposing me to formative work. Henry Dumas, just people that were changing my life. And then one day we watched a video of Jerome, and I remember feeling the gravity of this artist, like through a screen, just like changing the room, And I imagine, like, damn, I wish I could see them one day, And we're here today. So, Jerome has a great bio in his. I'm just gonna read it. Jerome Ellis was born in 1989 to Jamaican and Grenadian immigrants. Jerome Ellis lives in Tidewater, Virginia, with their wife, ecologist, poet Louisa Black Ellis. Jerome Ellis dreams of building a sonic bathhouse. We might get a sonic bathhouse. All right, I'm just gonna do one little quote that really touched me from the book, and then we're gonna ask Jerome to come up here. Okay, this is from a poem in the book. My name is the door to my being, and in that eternal, when I'm stuttering, the door is left wide open, and my being rushes out. What rushes in? And what I want to rush in right now is the love of NOPF. Everyone, please give a round of applause for Jerome.
Thank you so very much. Bernardo, for your very, very kind introduction. I feel really honored. And thank you all so much for the very warm welcome. It's my first time in New Orleans, and I could not be happier to be here. And can we have one more round of applause for Courtney Bush. Courtney, I feel so free when I experience your work, and I just loved your reading so much. Really speechless. We are gathered here in Siberia under these beautiful warm lights. There are taxidermied animal heads hanging from the walls, beautiful dark wallpaper. Bartenders working very hard, and please tip your bartenders. On the stage behind me is a screen where I'm captioning my speech in real time. There's a saxophone the color of honey and some microphones. My skin is brown, my hair is black. I'm wearing a gray t-shirt and black pants, and I recently misplaced my mom's gold chain, which I always wear against my chest, but it's here in spirit. And last but certainly not least is a lavender plushie hippo named Hildegard, which I will hold her up like we're in The Lion King. She's my travel companion. We live in Virginia with my wife, Louisa, and I miss Louisa and home very much. And Hildegard belongs to Louisa, and she very kindly allows Hildegard to go on these road trips we drove down from Virginia yesterday. Thank you all for making such a generous path for me. Just flashed on the screen is a screen grab from me and Louisa's favorite scene of Lost. She has the same screen grab on her work computer, and sometimes when I visit her, we look at it together and laugh in her office. If anyone knows the scene, it's so classic. Bernardo, thank you so much for reading that passage from the book Master of Ceremonies, and for your very kind words about its cover. I agree that the cover is so beautiful, and I can't take any credit for it. It was designed by the inimitable, inimitable Mary Austin Speaker. And who has designed so many of our favorite books of poetry. And the interior was designed by Mary Antiqua Diker. I'll read a bit more of the essay you quoted, Bernardo. It's called Liturgy of the Name, and it's in some ways about my relationship to stuttering on my name, which I've done since I was about 4 or 5. What are the repercussions for your spirit when we steal your name? Or what are the repercussions of your name being inseparable from a certain silence? The curtain of the syllable. What's your name? This question has made me afraid my whole life. But over the years, after thousands of glottal blocks on my name, I've been led to a grove of unknowing. Glottal block is a term for how my stutter usually manifests, where my vocal cords tremble, not quite meeting, and the voice becomes blocked. What is my name? How should I spell it? Did I consent to be baptized? Were those baptismal waters disfluent? Disfluent is a term that can refer to disabled or non-normative ways of speaking, including stuttering, aphasia, Tourette's, and others. I skip the crack in the sidewalk. I slip out the back door of time. Strip me of my name, all my mothers and fathers forever. Lead me to the threshold of the curtained aperture. Douse me with perfume, abyss on both sides. Let's see if I remember how to type the M dash on a Mac. All right. We've been well, my italics aren't working, but this next section is in italics. We've been trying to tell you for so long. We finally sent the deer to tell you, hoping you'd listen to them. They leapt past you and everyone else, scalded by moonlight. Go see where they drink. Follow them. Bring your needle and thread, your mascara and blush. You'll try your hardest not to lose them, but you still will. We invented patience. Go see where they drink. What color are their tongues? Do you fear illusions? I cannot hear them. If we fashion a new silence for you to wear on your breast, will that help? The brook is crooked. Drop this book into it. Once you've learned these words by heart, hurry slowly. Go see where they drink, where they think. Perpetual ardor. What might a baptismal melisma sound like? Melisma is another term for when singers do vocal runs, singing more than one note per syllable. Or a melismatic baptism, a page illuminated by a melismatic lamp. Okay, I'll pause there and share Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to share a song that is in progress. Rough draft. And there's a chorus that y'all are welcome to sing with me. It goes, song fly over river, yeah, river, yeah. Spread eagle like a heron, yeah, heron, yeah. Bend light in the quiet air, yeah. Everyone's in the choir here. All right. The lyrics are up here somewhere. Okay. Yeah, passing the cicada in the duff from the forest floor, and I bowed it down. Silent eagle waving in the wind on the shore at dawn, and I close my eyes with a smile and I bowed it down. Kestrel gets me flying overhead, and I lift my eyes to the sky and I pray it down. Please help. And there's some lyrics here, I don't know what's gonna go here yet. What I would do, I would do, I would do, I would do, I would do to kiss my grandmother's cheek again, massage her feet again, feet that slipped on a hill in the cold of Georgia, Jamaica, St. George's, Grenada. But I'll save that for later. And when I touch the grass of another hill, under the summer sun, let's go dry her for the new drum. And in the brief for the last songs, what can the grasses teach me? What can the adage teach me? What can the adage teach me? Song fly over river, yeah, spread eagle like a heron, yeah. Bend light in the quiet air, yeah. Oh, everyone's in the quiet air. Song fly over river, yeah, spread eagle like a heron, yeah. Bend light in the quiet air. Oh, everyone's in the quiet air. Flying to Grenada with our dad, and we asked him to tell us about a job fair. Red fruit waving in the wind on the shore at dawn, and we close our eyes with a smile and imagine him jumping in the sea to have a swim. The loud birds, the downpour drumming on the corrugated roof, and he said there ain't nothing like that sound, my boys. What I would do, I would do, I would do, I would do, I would do to kiss my grandmother's cheek again, massage her feet again, feet that slipped on a hill in the Rochester Forest, Savannah, the best of Kumasi, Yabuchi, a Jeffy Caracas, San Juan, the Pano, Matano, Vela, Flores, Consultivo, Cartagena, La Chorera, Monaco, Cabello, Salvador. Song fly over river, yeah, spread eagle like a heron, yeah, bend light in the quiet air, oh, everyone's in the quiet air. Song fly over river, yeah, spread eagle like a heron, yeah, bend light in the quiet air, oh, everyone's in the quiet air. Song fly over river, yeah, spreading it like a every year, every year. I wanna keep on learning. I wanna keep on learning. And you can join this part if you want to. Keep on learning. I wanna 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 keep on learning. Let's go here, learn from them. Great blue heron. Let's go here, learn from them. Great blue heron. Let's go. Some fly over Riviera, spreading it like a every year. Bend light in the quiet air. Oh, everyone in the quiet air. Some fly over Riviera, spreading it like a every year. Bend light in the quiet air. Oh, everyone in the quiet air. Some fly over Riviera, spreading it like a every year. Bend light in the quiet air. Oh, everyone in the quiet air. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for singing with me. Thank you. And I want to thank everybody at New Orleans Poetry Festival. Including, but not limited to, Megan, Bill, Sky, Sean, Jonathan, Henry, Lisa, Gabrielle, Stephanie, Rodrigo, Bernardo, Rachel, and Siberia, everyone here. Thank you everyone so much And I have some records and CDs for sale at the back. Have a wonderful rest of the festival.
Thank you all so much for coming out. It is a privilege to share the same air. There are ghosts in the room, obviously. Give it up one more time for Jerome and Courtney. There are books in the back. One more time, support those artists. Tip your bartenders. They've been working so hard for so many people. And we'll see you tomorrow.